They are small, powerful, and also economical, completely in accordance with the requirements of users for which economy stands in the foreground. The new series of ČKD locomotives logically closely follows the trend of a constant reduction of the operating costs. The joint stock company ČKD Lokomotivka fully satisfies the demands of its customers and offers locomotives with excellent or even superb parameters to them. This is the reason why its products are gradually gaining recognition on the sophisticated Western markets. Operating costs can be basically reduced in two ways. One of them is not to use excessively powerful locomotives in service where a less powerful one would be quite sufficient. To be able to do so, the customer must have a good overview of the diesel locomotives available and of their technical data. When offering new locomotives, the joint stock company ČKD Lokomotivka always includes in its specification, besides the tractive curve, a tractive effort diagram. The customer can immediately, according to the given slope of the track he intends to run the locomotive on, determine the speed of the offered locomotive hauling a required load. From this diagram, he can also find out whether on a given slope he will be able to enter the train into running, and so on. The second way to reduce the operating costs is to replace outdated locomotives characterized by high fuel consumption and high maintenance and repair costs with new up-to-date locomotives of the same output. To the standard outfit, the ČKD locomotives belongs an electronic output governor of the diesel engine, which at various output levels maintains an optimum consumption of fuel. Locomotives with lower outputs are supplied with lorry engines which, compared with current locomotive engines, have a reduced idling consumption, a parameter which for shunting locomotives plays a decisive role in the level of operating costs. The function of the electronic control of entry into running and motoring strongly affects the working efficiency of a locomotive, which applies especially in bad climatic conditions, since the locomotive can operate at the limit of adhesion. The electronic control also brings considerable savings in braking. Electrodynamic brakes operate with maximum efficiency very near to standstill. The consumption of brake shoes is thus reduced by as much as 90%. Which again is an item that cannot be neglected in the operating costs. Maximum reduction of the operating costs can be reached by a combination of both of the above ways. For example, a 30-year-old 4-axle series T435.0 diesel locomotive with an output of 550 kilowatts was replaced with a modern 2-axle series T239.1 locomotive with a 327 kilowatt Mercedes diesel engine. The latter locomotive, comprising electronic control and an electrodynamic brake, coped with the required shunting service. The consumption of diesel oil dropped to about 54%, of lube oil to 19%, and of brake shoes even to 10%. The annual reduction of operating costs amounted to $20,000. The Series T239.0 locomotive is equipped with a dual operation system so that in case of greater loads, two articulated locomotives of this series can replace a 6-axle Series T669.0 locomotive. The locomotives are interconnected via multiple drive sockets and controlled from either locomotive, including starting and stopping the engine. The operating and maintenance costs are approximately 2/3 of those of the outdated type, which represents a considerable shortening of the investment return with the purchase of a new locomotive. The vehicle is equipped with automatic speed control in a range from 0 to 20 kilometers per hour. The tractive effort of the locomotive at entry into running is 141 kilonewtons for an axle load of 22 tons. The continuous tractive effort at a speed of 8.7 kilometers per hour is 98 kilonewtons. The locomotive can haul a load of 1,000 tons on a track with a gradient of 7 to 8 per mil. On customer's request, the locomotive can be equipped with remote radio control. A ČKD locomotive now working at the EMS Chemia Works in Switzerland is furnished with such an easily operated system. The joint stock company ČKD Lokomotivka is ready to furnish the locomotives on customers' request with any other optional equipment, including the type of the diesel engine. A modification of the series T239.1 locomotive for service on the tracks of the Czech railways, both for passenger and freight transport, can serve as an example. The two-axle Series 708 locomotive has a longer wheelbase, and instead of a Mercedes diesel, it is equipped with a 300 kilowatt Liaz M12C diesel engine. Of course, with electronic control of motoring and braking and an electrodynamic brake. The tractive effort at entry into running is 110 kilowatts for an axle load of 17 tons. The continuous tractive effort at a speed of 13.2 kilometers per hour is 59 kilonewtons. At this speed, the locomotive can haul a load of 600 tons on a track with a gradient of 7 to 8 per mil. For service with passenger trains, the locomotive is furnished with an equipment for the supply of trailer cars and for the opening and closing of their doors. The Czech Railways hope that in a temporary period of the lack of motor rail cars, it will be able to exclude the use of uneconomical, more powerful locomotives from passenger service. To those customers who manage smaller loads of their sidings, ČKD Lokomotivka offers a two-axle series T238.0 locomotive with a more modest equipment without an electrodynamic brake. This locomotive can shift 12 empty high-volume freight wagons. However, it will also manage 22 fully loaded standard freight wagons, which constitutes a load of 900 tons. The Series T238.0 locomotive, equipped with a 250 kilowatt Liaz diesel engine, is furnished with electronic motoring control, which is able to maintain the tractive effort on the limit of adhesion and to prevent wheel slide. The tractive effort of the locomotive at entry into running is 110 kilowatts for an axle load of 18 tons. The continuous tractive effort at a speed of 9.5 kilometers per hour is 64 kilonewtons. At this speed, the locomotive can haul a load of 650 tons on a track with a gradient of 7 to 8 per mil. The Series 714 twin-engine diesel locomotive is an example of how a modern economical locomotive can be produced for half the purchase price of a completely new one. It has been developed for medium shunting and mainline passenger and freight service. The Series 714 locomotive is a refurbished older Series 735 diesel locomotive, which was very uneconomical for the high fuel consumption and also the high maintenance and repair cost of its original diesel engine. The possibility of battery-operated short-range running eliminated the previously unavoidable filling of locomotive running sheds with smoke due to starts from cold. From the former Series 735 locomotive only, the main frame and the understructure have been used. On the main frame, a completely new spacious driver's cab with windows securing a wide field of view and two bonnets have been built. In order to achieve higher savings of operating costs, two lorry diesel engines have been used, identical with those used in the Series 708 locomotives. The Series 714 diesel locomotive has been developed for universal service with varying loads. The Czech railways, for example, are running this locomotive with advantage on the Karlovy Vary-Potučky line. On a track with practically no even sections, the locomotive runs nearly half of both directions with a single engine. The second diesel can, if need be, start at any time, even during motoring. The locomotive is equipped with two 300 kilowatt Liaz M21C diesel engines and an electronic digital governor. The tractive effort at entry into running is 186 kilonewtons for an axle load of 16 tons. The continuous tractive effort at a speed of 15.4 kilometers per hour is 104 kilonewtons. At this speed, the locomotive can haul a load of 1,020 tons on a track with a gradient of 7 to 8 per mil. Due to the power range of the locomotive, also the number of cars hauled can be readily adapted with respect to the number of passengers. For service with passenger trains, the locomotive is furnished with an equipment for the supply of trailer cars and for closing and opening of their doors from the driver's desk. After reaching the summit of the track, the driver stops the second engine, and for 10 kilometers the train is intensively braked. On the way back, this amounts to more than 25 kilometers. Most of the braking, performed in the slow braking mode, is done by the electrodynamic brake. The surroundings of the track are consequently no more contaminated with the fillings from the cast iron brake shoes. The use of up-to-date ČKD Series 714 locomotives on this track thus preserves the beautiful mountain nature the track is running through. The Series T238.0, T239.1, 714, and 708 locomotives constitute a set of 4 economical ČKD locomotives. Such is the present offer of the joint stock company ČKD Lokomotivka.